Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central. And here's your host, Bob Hickey.
And welcome to another fantastic episode of Foxborough Central. I am Bob Hickey, your host, and I thank you for taking the time to join with me and my guests as we talk about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxborough truly the gem of Norfolk County. Now, as we go through life, as you know, we meet occasionally people who are new to us, new to our community, and we also touch on subjects that have meaning. So we've done both today, I hope. Let me introduce to you my guests first. I would like to introduce Springs. Hello, Springs.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
And Stache. Sometimes I have difficulty remembering the guest names, but today I will have no such difficulty. Yes, you wore them on there. Plus, I'm thinking the mustache is probably something to do with it, so I've got this. So I'm not the smartest host, but I think we'll be good today. So today, Stache and Springs, we are here to talk about child abuse and what you're doing to combat it. So welcome, first of all, to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Springs, you are the public relations
Officer
of Baca. And Baca is what?
Bikers Against Child Abuse, Baca. It exists with the intent to create a safer environment for abused children. We exist as a body of bikers to empower kids not to feel afraid of the world in which they live.
Interesting. Okay, great. So powerful message and good cause. How did you become involved with Baca?
I had seen a video that was going around on Facebook some years back, and it showed some kids and some of the Baca members and some parents of these abused children, and it discussed what Baca did and how it worked, and I immediately felt very drawn to it. I understood why there was such a need for involvement in this cause, and I immediately wanted to be a part of it, so I reached out.
So you were a biker first, and then you became involved with Baca.
Yes.
Excellent. And Stache, are you the same?
Believe it or not, I just happened to be looking on a website one day. I found it. I read it up. There was not a Massachusetts chapter at the time. And then as soon as I found out there was one, I joined up and helped start it. Okay,
great. So Stache, you are the president of the Massachusetts chapter of
Yes.
Baca. And my understanding is that this is an international organization.
Yes.
So how did Baca, as an international organization, start?
Well, first it started in Utah with
Okay.
one man. He started the whole thing. He was a licensed clinical therapist who had a kid he met, and he found that the kid kind of took to the bikers.
It's a really interesting, not to interrupt, but it's really interesting because bikes are sort of a wow factor. And so what a great way to lead into the relationship and the friendship, and then feeling as a different plane from the trauma of abuse. So it's an interesting take.
And that was back in 1995 you started it.
Okay.
One chapter in Utah, and today we're in 17 countries.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow.
We have over 10,000 members.
10,000 members.
Worldwide.
And so Baca, the Massachusetts chapter, you're the president of, and there's 3 chapters of Massachusetts?
There's a Western Mass chapter, there's the Massachusetts chapter, and we also are starting a Northern Mass chapter.
All right, and if I'm a biker, which I'm not, but if I am, how would I get involved?
You can call the hotline, which we gave you a card, and you can. We will have a person reach out to you. First of all, you got to be a biker. We don't just take anybody in because.
So I would not qualify.
No,
I'm not worthy, is what you're saying.
I'm sorry.
Folks, that's okay. All right. It's all right.
Sorry to say it, but it's the attitude. It's the appeal.
But it's also what you do, and it's your niche,
Right.
and it's what you bring to the table.
Right.
Absolutely.
And when the kids see 30 motorcycles roll up in front of their house, instead of 30 golf carts.
Well, it does carry a different message. So let's talk about that. And by the way, let me give some information now. And if you looked it up on Facebook and found it, you can go to their Facebook page, be a friend, Bikers Against Child Abuse International. It is an international organization, so they're not individual websites. It's all part of the global picture. And that would be at www.bacaworld.org. So it's BACA world.org, which of course stands for Bikers Against Child Abuse. In the Massachusetts chapter, you have a Quincy address, and there's a telephone number up there, as you just mentioned. If you are interested in supporting, interested in learning more about, or this is also an abuse hotline, is it not?
Yes.
Correct.
So if you know of a child or who's somebody potentially in a situation, you can call them at 617-504-6888. 6821, correct?
Right. If you want, she'll explain exactly who has to call
Well, you know
for
what?
abuse.
I think that's a great idea. Springs, let's explain.
Well, we have to have a legal guardian call the hotline number to request our services. So when a legal guardian calls, they'll reach our chapter child liaison. So we have someone in this position to evaluate the case. After the child liaison evaluates this case and determines if this is a documented case of abuse, if this child's living in fear, things like that, we then can take steps to set up an initial meet where we'll go and meet the child and guardian to further discuss the case and see if we're going to take on that child.
Okay, interesting. So sometimes there are cases where it is the guardian themselves who are doing the abuse. What is that type of dynamic when that happens?
Generally, we won't get calls from those people because if it's the guardian doing the abuse,
That
they're
goes
not
down a
going to call on
different path,
themselves.
right? Because
Correct.
there are other resources. So your primary intervention is with the children who are feeling threatened or feeling as though they need a little support.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
The kids that feel like they need protection, the kids that are afraid that their abuser is going to retaliate against them and that they feel that maybe they need 30 bikers on their side to
Maybe
protect
they need
them.
a friend.
Yes,
Maybe
exactly.
they need a tough friend. All right.
Basically, we're just big brothers and big sisters.
That's a really interesting approach because I guess in the sort of bullying and abuse, there's always that, what happens after the report is made, there's retaliation. And so I suppose what you're saying is that you're there to give the child, the victim, confidence and maybe protect them against retaliation.
Which we do.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Yep.
So in your experience then, as a member of Baca Springs, how long have you been with Baca?
I've been with the organization for 5 years.
Okay, and in that time, what has your experience been?
I've seen all different types of abuse cases. We take on emotional, sexual, physical, and a lot of the times what happens is these kids report the abuse to either a guardian or other authorities, and they end up in our organization. And in that, I've seen kids transform from completely terrified and scared to happy and outgoing. And it's incredible what just removing fear from a child can do for them. It can allow them to live the life that they were supposed to live in the first place happen.
And it gives them an opportunity to have an outlet, perhaps even.
Yes.
That's not in that world of abuse or that cycle. So how
Exactly.
interesting. Okay, and you've personally done some interventions or done some supports?
Yep. So I'm a primary to a kid. So what a primary is somebody who is assigned to that child who will exchange contact information and will follow up with that child to make sure they're maintaining a positive path, and to relay any needs they have to the rest of the chapter. So if that kid is feeling afraid and they're having nightmares at night and they're scared that their abuser's going to, retaliate against them, we can go there. They can call me and we can go there and we can stay outside their house all night in shifts so that child knows that they're safe.
Excellent, excellent. What an interesting intervention, but actually very powerful too. I cannot imagine how cool that would be to have that feeling of security, having 30 bikes rumbling around outside my neighborhood.
Yes.
But it's also they can call us at 2 o'clock in the morning and we will answer that phone. They know we will be there for them 24/7.
Nice.
365 days a year. I don't care if it's Christmas Eve. I will answer that phone as soon as it rings if it's a kid.
So clearly you are committed to this organization. So how did you become involved, STACHE?
Like I said, I joined many years ago to help start it, and I'm not giving up.
How many years ago?
10.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
So from those beginnings, and you were the first one in the Massachusetts chapter, how many members strong is the chapter now?
Well, that's one thing we don't like to discuss, like actual numbers, because let's say they...
Give me a range of 2
Yeah,
to
I will.
5,000.
Oh, for the Massachusetts chapter?
Yes.
No, the Massachusetts chapter is at minimum 25.
Okay, so where I was going with this, of course, is that you're looking for folks to help out, to be part of the team.
Right.
And if they wanted to, they could also contact you at 617-504-6821 and learn more about how to become part of the Baca Riders.
Correct.
Is that how you refer yourself?
Just Baca members, yeah.
Baca members, okay.
Yep.
Fantastic. And we are joined here by a couple by a bear and a jacket on the table. So you had started talking to me about this spring. So what do we have here?
So when we take on a new case and we have a child or a couple children being brought to our biker family, we go there in a group. We go as the entire chapter, and we go to this child's house to welcome them to our family.
Excellent.
So when we arrive, they're initially approached by just a couple members to, try to keep them feeling safe and all that stuff. Because as you can imagine, a bunch of bikers showing up to your house at once, like 50 people, can be pretty overwhelming.
Well, it can be cool.
Especially to an abused child. So,
Yes.
They start out with that small group, and that group will ask them if it's okay to introduce them to the rest of their family.
So there's a method to it.
Yes. So we go up to that child one by one and introduce ourselves. At that point, the child's primary will then take out a jacket for the child that looks just like ours.
Okay.
So it's got the back patch here. I'm in the family, and they also will get their very own road name.
Okay.
So they can also identify as a biker and kind of put on that extra layer of skin, so to speak.
Great.
We also give them a teddy bear, which I can show you here. And we take this teddy bear and we explain to this child that we are going to go around and hug this teddy bear and fill it with love and courage. And when we're done hugging the teddy bear, we give it to the child, and we let them know that if they need us to come back and refill it with love and courage, we can do that for them. And, we've seen kids go up on the stand with the bear. We've seen them, be able to fall asleep with the bear. And it's just a really great way for them to know that they're a part of our family and that we want them to be safe.
Very cool. All right. Well, I like that bear then. He's a good bear. Has he been filled with love, Stash?
Every
That
one of
one's
them
ready
are.
to go?
Every one
So
of
if
them.
somebody knows of a child, if there's a legal guardian or a parent out there who knows of a child, their child, that's at risk or in danger, that they can call you and that somebody will be their friend.
We return all of our calls within 12 hours.
Within 12 hours. Now, what if
Now,
I call?
unless they call at 11 o'clock at night, we always wait till the morning.
Sure.
But if you called in the morning, you're going to get a call by 6 o'clock that evening.
So what if I call and maybe my call should be redirected? Do you give assistance with that, or?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a safe number to call no matter what, because even if I'm calling the wrong number, you'll give some resources and steer me in the right direction.
As PR officers, she keeps tons of organizations that we deal with, even if it's not kids. Because sometimes we have adults call. Can you help me? Well, we can't, but
you have resources.
we have resources
Great.
for them.
And that's very important. That way you have a network, essentially.
Correct.
And I'm sure that it's a reciprocal one where people who you've become networked with, they'll refer people to you. Does that happen a lot, or?
It's right now most of our stuff is word of mouth. You know what I mean? Like somebody will go to a session for abused kids and they'll be like, oh, we have Baca helping us. They're unbelievable. Well, who's Baca? You know what I mean? And then, I'm going to call them.
Well, then I'm glad we're doing this show to help spread the word.
You know.
Excellent. So I'm speaking with Stache and Springs here with Baca, the Bikers Against Child Abuse. It's a very powerful organization here in Massachusetts. The Massachusetts chapter is looking for folks to, but you have to be a biker. You can't just walk in on a moped or a trike. It's strictly for bikers. Is it okay if we're riding something other than a Harley, or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So we're not that hard.
Neither one of us ride Harleys.
Well, my world's been shook. No, I'm just kidding.
No, Indian in victory.
Fantastic.
Better.
Even better, yes. We love all bikes, but if you want to learn more about Baca, you should log on to their website at www.bacaworld.org. You can also be their friend on Facebook at Bikers Against Child Abuse International, and they are looking for members, they're looking for donations, and of course they're looking for children in need, children to help. So if you are a parent or a guardian and you want to give them a call at 617-504-6821, it'll be a call well made. So I suppose I have to ask, what are your immediate needs, Springs?
I would say just finding the families and getting the word out that we exist. I think a lot of families don't know we exist. And I think also the fact that we're bikers doesn't always play in our favor, in the sense where guardians might be a little bit nervous to contact us.
Well, there's always I don't know if it's a stigma or if it's just, it's incongruous sometimes to think of tough bikers being caring and giving.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's exactly what you're looking for and what sometimes these kids need. So how cool is that?
Exactly, because we still want these kids to see us as scarier than their perp, scarier than their demons, but we're also on their side. So it's really important that they understand, that the guardians understand that even though we're bikers, we still have this, love for children, and that we have the soft spot for children, but we're also willing to protect these children by whatever means necessary.
Awesome. Great. So STACHE, I'm going to give you the last word after I go through my spiel again. And of course, that is that Baca is here for your kids who are at risk or maybe being abused. If you're a parent or guardian, you can call them at 617-504-6821. They're waiting for your call 24 hours a day. They will get back to you, of course. The important thing here is that if a child is at risk or being abused, they have up to 30 friends that'll come out and be their support mechanism on bikes. Definitely a cool approach, and one that I think has a lot of strength to it. So good for you for doing that. You can also reach out to them at www.bacaworld.org or be their friend on Facebook at Bikers Against Child Abuse International. STACHE, thank you so much for coming out.
Oh, thank you.
Give us the last word here.
I just want to let everyone know too that we are in every New England state. So even if you're not in Massachusetts, you're watching this,
it's worth getting a call.
You know what I mean? You give a call to, just go online, you'll find the local chapter's phone number. Every chapter is listed, names, phone numbers, everything they need to know, so they can call any chapter. I have driven as far as Maryland on my bike for a kid to help. We will help any kid, anywhere, anytime.
It's a great cause and sincere commitment. Good for you. I'm going to just say this because I've learned a long time ago never to not let the PR person tell me if I've missed anything, right?
Oh, no.
All right.
That's why she's here.
Public Relations Officer, Springs?
One last thing that I'd like to say.
See?
As far as if you're thinking about giving a donation, we are a 501c3 charity, so that can be used for tax write-off purposes. And also, we're 100% volunteer from the bottom to the top. Not a single person gets paid, and 100% of the money goes towards the children. We can pay for things like therapy, self-defense classes, things like that.
That is a very powerful message in and of itself. It shows organization, also shows that money donated goes to a great cause, in addition to the colors and the bear. So thank you, Springs and STACHE, for being on the show. And thank you, everybody, for being here on Foxborough Central. If you'd like to get this information once more, you can always log on to our YouTube channel, Foxborough Central. Also, our website is www.fcatv.org. I thank you for taking the time to be with us and learning about Baca, Bikers Against Child Abuse. We hope it's not a part of your world, but if it is, you now have a resource to call. On behalf of all of us here at Foxborough Cable Access, I'm Bob Hickey, your host, and thank you for being with us. Have a great day, Foxborough. Take care.